What's up, summoners? The patch day is finally come and gone. They finally released Hecarim. I got a full day to play him and try him out, and I've got my first impressions ready to go for you guys. I will say it was really hard for me to start this video because Hecarim was a hell of a lot of fun, and it was hard for me to stop playing. So let's talk about some of his strengths and weaknesses. You'll notice that Hecarim is actually a great initiator and has amazing disruption in team fights. He's not the best damage champion, but he can definitely be very threatening later in the game and definitely in a prolonged engagement. Now, you can possibly build him with a large amount of damage, but that would be at the cost of being just way too squishy to do his job correctly in most situations. So for the most part, I feel that you have to build him more tanky and focus on allowing his spammability to do the work for you. I do feel that I can see him being played competitively in select cases, as once you get out of the laning phase, you'll really start to pick up some steam as you get those items, and he can be a pretty big game changer. I feel like the big issue right now is that he really does need items to do his job well, and his laning phase is quite difficult against some champions, but it can be manageable. Now, his jungle feels somewhat out of the question, at least in my opinion. The reason for that is that I kind of think he's overshadowed by most other junglers, and his small amount of damage makes his ganks a little less oppressive. He does have some very interesting gank positions that he can come out from that only a champion such as Fiddle would be able to gank from. So you can then see him coming from the Wraiths, jumping over the wall with his ultimate into a fear, and then pushing back an enemy champion towards the middle of the lane. That's just one example, and it works very well. So sure, that works from the jungle, but you can do the same thing if you're coming in from another lane. So if you play him top lane, you can do that same type of gank if you run down to the middle lane to gank after pushing your lane. I tried a few different builds on him, and I think I found one that's going to stick, and in my opinion, works in almost every single case and is going to be the strongest for him. What I did was I picked up double gold per 10, that's your Philo and your Heart of Gold, after your Boots 3-pot start. And that's going to give you the best way for you to get that gold rolling so you can get into that late game, especially since you're probably going to get zoned out a little bit depending on who you're laning against. Then once you have that, go straight for your Trinity Force. Well, once you pick up your second pair of boots, which you want to pick up Merc Treads if they have a lot of magic and CC. Otherwise, just go for the Ninja Tabbies. After you pick up a Trinity Force, it's kind of situational at this point. I usually will grab a Hex Drinker at least to help me out with some of the magic damage and give me a little bit more damage myself. If I'm taking a lot of damage and I feel like a lot of physical is coming my way, I'll go ahead and pick up a Randuin at this point. Otherwise, I'll go for the Maul of Malmortius and eventually a Shurelya's after I've gotten both my Randuins and my Maul. And that's really the most I've ever seen being able to be built on him in a really long game. For runes, I like to go real tanky. I'll pick up 13 armor on my yellows, some 15 armor pin, and then I'll take move speed quints, and then magic resist per level for my blues. For my masteries, I'll go tanky as well, putting 22 points into the defense tree and another 8 into utility, making sure to definitely pick up all of the move speed options. As for summoners, at first you might think the Ghost would be a strong pick on him just because his passive does give him that extra attack damage. However, I personally felt that using Flash and Teleport was the most successful for me, and that's because a lot of times I like to jump into the middle of everybody with my ultimate, which allows me to fear people and then do as much damage as possible, and sometimes I have to flash out of that to get away. Ghost doesn't always give you the best option for that, not to mention the fact that Flash has the ability to jump over walls and things like that that is just really useful. Teleport I used because, well, early on I'm having trouble in the laning phase, so it allows me to get a few creeps, get low health, and then teleport back in without losing too many creeps, as well as being able to push lanes or group up into teamfight situations or gank other lanes. Obviously, the same that would apply to any other champion picking up those same summoners. Okay, I'd like to talk about Hecarim and just his different utilities. So right off the bat, the E I think is probably one of the coolest abilities about him. And his charge, I believe, gets 3 different levels of speed on it, and you'll actually notice this as you're charging. It kind of blinks every time he gets a little bit faster. So one cool thing about it is it does an immense amount of damage to enemy structures. If you get it to the max speed level and then attack a tower, you'll notice you can get up to like 500 extra damage on that just one attack. And then you can use it to chase people down and assassinate people that are running away. It's great for initiating into fights or pushing away carries or into correct positions for you. Also, it's great for escaping. So overall, E, love that ability. Now, at first, I was leveling it up last, but after kind of thinking about it, I realized that since the damage is quite nice and it does lower the cooldown, I like to pick it up by level 13. The Q, you'll pick that up as your first ability and you'll level it up first. It doesn't actually do that much damage. It's nice that you can spam it, but it generally will do about the same as an auto attack once you have it fully leveled up. The cool thing though is that yes, it does attack everything, so once you add up a lot of people standing around you, then of course it's going to be doing more damage at that point. And then your W, it's going to allow you to do a little bit of damage, but the damage is not the big thing. The big thing with the W is the fact that it actually heals you for a very significant portion of your health. At max level, it gives you 30% healing from all damage sources. So this is what makes him really cool. You can jump right into 5 people, and if your whole team is there engaging onto these guys, then you're going to be healing for like crap loads of damage. You're going to get about 400 health back just from the damage on the W alone, and then whatever else comes. So I've noticed that when I jump in, my health will get low, and then as my team starts fighting, my health just shoots back up whenever that is up. Of course, it is only 4 seconds, so you want to make sure you time it correctly when you turn that thing on. Alright, and the ultimate is... it's lovely. Like, it's so awesome. The range on this thing is sick. You can literally jump from the bottom tri-bush all the way over the wall for an escape, which I've used that once or twice to get away from a bottom lane gank. Now, I didn't even notice this at first, but it's so awesome, the fact that if you jump onto somebody with your ultimate, it does fear them for 1 second. So it's a nice little CC, especially if you're going to initiate in a fight. One thing I like to do is push my charge, my E, get it going for 1 or 2 stacks, and then ultimate in, and then push back maybe their carry into my team, and then fight that way. And that's a great way to initiate. So there's a lot of different situations where it works out. Another good thing to do is once a fight starts to break out, just actually run in with your E, jump onto their carry, and then at that point, if their carry flashes away or gets away some way, then you can turn on your ultimate to continue chasing him and take them out. Overall, with Hecarim, your main goal, in my opinion, should be to stick to their carry like glue and really shut him down. You're one of those tanky DPS that you're just so fast, they can't really do anything but have to deal with you. Normally what's going to happen is they're going to turn on you and try and attack you. So getting high armor, especially that Randuin's, is always going to be a good choice. But if you are taking a lot of magic damage and they're not focusing you down, then obviously that's when, you know, the magic resist is more helpful. But in any case, I found that in most fights, if I can just take out their AD carry, my team's going to clean things up quite nice, and a lot of times I can survive from that because I am so tanky. Overall, Hecarim is a really fun champion to play outside of the laning phase. If you have the patience and the skill to farm him up and get him to mid and to late game, Hecarim is definitely a strong choice in almost any team comp. Hopefully this video gave you guys some insight into playing Hecarim if you needed some tips, or gave you an idea if you actually wanted to purchase the champion. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button and share it with your friends. Also, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel as I do a lot more League of Legends guides, commentaries, funny highlights, and just the whole shebang. So that's all for today, guys. I'm Colby Cheese. Peace out.